doing wrong and khalas, I'm free of sin. You're not, because the other obligation is not fulfilled, which is establishing of Islam. Or other people say, you know what, sometimes people see their friends doing something wrong, you don't stop them at all. That's also wrong. You have to stop them. If you see something wrong, you have to go and tell them very nicely. Now, some people say, you know what, if I see someone, let's say, drinking alcohol, I'm going to go take the bottle and put it on the ground and smash on the ground. Some ulama have said that's okay to do, but you have to understand it's case dependent. You're supposed to change the situation. Sometimes, to change the situation, it might require you to go take the bottle. If you know the guy at that level, you might go and take the bottle and throw it on the ground. If you don't know the guy, and if you do that, it's going to make things worse, you're supposed to stay only with your tongue. It becomes haram on you because you're going to increase the fitna there. That's what ulama have said, to take the bottle. But the goal is to change. So the question now becomes, how do we change the situation? Either this way, or this way, or this way. Other people might come and say, you know what, which is popular today, everyone's going to answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't need to command good or forbid evil. I live my life, brother, you live your life. We don't have to. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Al-mu'minu mir'atul mu'min. A believer is a mirror of another believer. That is not correct thinking. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Al-munafiquna wal-munafiqatu ba'duhum min ba'd ya'muruna bil-munkar wa yanhahum 'anil ma'ruf. The munafiqeen do the opposite. They command evil and they forbid good. If you are not stopping evil, you're part of that evil. You become part of the hypocrites. This is not the correct way of thinking. Meaning, what I'm trying to tell everyone here is I started my khutbah by speaking about this great good deed that is going to guarantee you Jannah. This good deed is going to protect you from the punishment of Allah in this dunya. This good deed is going to protect you from the punishment of Allah in the akhirah. This good deed is going to bring you on thrones of light on the day of judgment. This good deed is going to put you amongst the anbiya, and on and on. So when we think about good deeds like these, we don't think about amr bil ma'ruf and nahy an munkar. We think about maybe some other private actions. And today it's dominant from a social responsibility perspective. Muslims don't feel that it's our job, it's my job to help people, to help fix people. You know what? Leave people to their own. I want to do my thing. That's a very liberal way of thinking, not Islamic way of thinking. And that thinking morphs into something even worse. Something that's happening outside in Gaza, yeah, it's going to happen. What can we do? We can't change anything. Let it happen. Sudan, for example, it's happening today. Khalas, it's happening. We can't do anything. We can't change anything except for making dua. This type of thinking morphs into inaction. And it makes us very happy in wherever we are in our lives, telling ourselves a story that if I don't do something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not ask me the question as to why you didn't do something. But that's the thinking I want to smash here. Every single one of us is accountable for the whole earth. My brothers, my sisters, you and I, all of us are accountable for the whole earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. Human beings and Muslims have been created to take care of the whole earth. A homeless person that dies in Saskatoon is our responsibility. Your responsibility. You will be asked, this happened, what did you do about it? A person goes to sleep hungry, your neighbor, not only just your neighbor, everyone around you, anyone that sees Saskatoon, we have to take responsibility as a Muslim ummah. We don't feel that burden. We feel that the way we're living is fine. Get up, pray Fajr, go to work, come back from work, pick up the kids on the way, come back and have some extra things in the evening, chill with your family, do some projects, and that's the end of it. I'm making dua, I donate to this masjid, that masjid, I volunteer here and there, and khalas. And I'm going to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I have my answers. Ya Allah, why that homeless person died? Yeah, I tried, I gave my money to this masjid. I attended khutbahs here and there. I went to the masjid. Is that the answer Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept from us? Not true. Not true, not true. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to realize this responsibility on our shoulders. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to work towards alleviating this responsibility and not alleviating, fulfilling this responsibility on our shoulders. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه فيا فوز المستغفرين. اللهم أنت السلام. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على سيدنا المصطفى وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تلا. اللهم اجعلنا منهم ومن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. اللهم آمين يا رب العالمين. When it comes to Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy al Munkar, I came across a quote of Imam al-Nawawi rahmatullah alayh, which is very important. You know what he said? He said, Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy al Munkar does not happen where there is a difference of opinion. Allah. What did he say? Al-Amru bil Ma'ruf wa Nahyu anil Munkar does not happen where there is ijtihad, difference of opinion allowed. When you look at the ummah today, meaning it only happens where there's no ijtihad. Meaning it happens on qat'i issues, not dhanni issues. Which means something that's definitive, no difference of opinion, everyone agrees on it. You forbid people from doing that. Others, you don't do Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar on them. It's a different opinion. Now step back a little bit and let's take a look at the ummah. Do we do Amr bil Ma'ruf on dhanniyat? Of course. Everyone is on each other's throats, saying you're wrong, and this and that, and this opinion, that opinion. All of them dhanni. All of them dhanni. Music, for example, instruments, is a difference of opinion. Someone you know might listen to music. Fine, it's a valid difference of opinion. Allow the guy, leave him alone. You're not allowed to do Nahy al Munkar. Well, someone doesn't wear niqab. Leave him alone, that's their opinion. Someone wears a niqab. You're not supposed to do Nahy al Munkar. What are you supposed to do Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy al Munkar? On the qat'i, where you don't have a difference of opinion. You know what is qat'i? Which part of Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy al Munkar is qat'i? No difference of opinion? Do you know which one? You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. Unity of Muslims and having the Islamic system with a Khalifa. Any scholar, not a single scholar in the history of scholarship has disagreed with this. No one seems to talk about that, but everyone seems to talk about things that just divide the ummah even more. Right or wrong? Unfortunately, that's correct. Imam al-Qurtubi rahmatullah alayhi says in the tafsir of this ayah, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. We made you a khalifa on the earth. That means implementing the hukum of Allah. Imam al-Qurtubi said. And also Imam al-Qurtubi says that no one in the history of scholarship has ever disagreed on this opinion. Except for one. This person was Mu'tazili. Misguided guy. And his name was Asam, the deaf one, because he couldn't hear. And Imam al-Qurtubi called him, he is deaf from the Sharia. Asam min al-Sharia. And all his followers are also deaf. He's wrong. No one. And this great obligation of Amr bil Ma'ruf and commanding good, forbidding evil, commanding no gambling in the community, remove it. Commanding no zina in the community, remove it. Making a policy of no alcohol, remove it. These policies that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants humans to implement for their own betterment, we have ignored. Abu Bakr radhiallahu anhu gave khutbah one time and he got up and he said, Ya ayyuhan nas, O people, I heard that you're translating this ayah of Allah, but you're translating it in the wrong way. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu alaykum anfusakum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "O you who believe, take care of yourself. Forget the world. Focus on yourself." That's what people translate the ayah to mean. So Abu Bakr got up on the khutbah one day and he said, "Ya ayyuhan nas, people, I hear that you're translating this ayah to kind of become individualistic, just minding your own business and not bear any social responsibility for what's happening in the world, for the ummah, for Muslims, for non-Muslims, for the world, for yourself. You don't want you just want to just be in your corner and a hermit, do your stuff that you do every single day, and wallahi believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to welcome you in Jannatul Firdaus. When the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wasalam were killed, almost every single one of them, standing up for the justice, standing up for the mission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What have we done? So Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu gets up and he says to the ummah, "You are not translating this ayah correctly." He's speaking to the tabi'een, the next generation. Of course the Sahaba didn't misunderstand this. Then he says, لَتَأْمُرُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَلَتَنْهَوُنَّ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. You have to command good and you have to forbid evil. For if you don't, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will release His punishment upon you. And you will make dua and that dua will not be answered. How many of us, as a Muslim ummah, make dua in front of the Kaaba for Sudan, Palestine, East Turkestan, Kashmir? Then we say, how come it's not being accepted? Aren't we pious enough? Aren't we giving enough donations? We have abandoned the obligation of Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar. When I say that, I'm not talking about the individual obligation of you seeing your friend and stopping him from drinking alcohol. I'm talking about the collective obligation of removing alcohol from society. We have abandoned it. And what I want to bring out of this khutbah is that I want you to understand, we have abandoned it. We don't even realize we have abandoned it. And even worse, we are comfortably living by abandoning it. What is going to happen to the ummah? So when people come and ask me, subhanAllah, about these situations, about what's happening in Sudan and Gaza, sometimes I cry. How many times do I have to explain to Muslims that yes, we can donate, and we should. We should. Yes, we can do activism, we should. But until and unless we get back to what is required of us, nothing's going to happen to this ummah. Because my brother, my sister, last 100 years, what haven't we tried? What haven't we tried? How many Islamic schools do you think exist in the Muslim ummah? How many scholarship institutions exist in the ummah? We have produced hundreds and thousands of scholars, millions if not. Why hasn't the situation of the ummah become better? So if you were to take away something from this khutbah, what I want you to take away is the correct understanding of Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar, which we said is two types. One is kifaya, one is ayn. And kifaya is greater than ayn. Fard kifaya is greater than fard ayn. Again, consensus of all scholars. The logic is very simple. Imam Ghazali mentioned Ihya al-Ulumuddin is very simple. Fard kifaya is like a communal obligation. It's like Salatul Janazah, right? If no Salatul Janazah is led, everyone in the community is sinful. If you don't pray your own salah, only you are sinful. So, if you work towards Salatul Janazah, you are alleviating the sin from the whole community. If you pray your fard salah, you're only alleviating the sin from yourself. Clearly, the first one is a bigger reward than the second one. That's the Imam Ghazali said this in Ihya al-Ulumuddin. The kifaya is more than the ayn. So the communal obligation of Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar is to establish the deen of Allah, to remove alcohol from society, to make it a policy to remove alcohol. The individual obligation of Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar is not commanding good, it's enjoining good. You can't go whip the person. You can just tell the person, brother, don't drink alcohol. That's all you can do, and that's the extent. If it's a really close friend to you, you can probably take out the water from his hand. That's all you can do, right? I want you to take away from this khutbah, the first thing is the understanding of Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar. The second thing is the importance of Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar. I told you earlier, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised Jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saves you from the punishment of Allah. If you remember the Saturday, the Ashabul Sabt, who were turned into pigs and monkeys, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them not to fish. And they became three groups in that group of people. One group that fished, one group that stopped them from fishing. The third group was neutral. Today this is very popular. Being neutral is so popular today. You can be neutral in dhanni, not qat'i. Not qat'i, it's black and white. Yeah? So the third group was neutral. They were asked, how come you don't stop them from fishing? They said, they're not going to listen to us anyway, so why try? That's what they said. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed them. So if you do this Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar, you're amongst the prophets. You will be saved from Allah's punishment in this world. You'll be amongst the believers. If you don't, you'll be amongst the munafiqeen. I want you to take away the importance of Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar of the individual one. The communal one is even more great. All of this stuff, but even more great. And I also want us to take away that the social responsibility of every disaster in the earth is our responsibility. When Umar became the Khalifa, you know what he said? He said, if a goat, while walking on the streets of Medina, falls into a pothole or trips in a pothole and falls down and gets injured, it's my responsibility. It's on my head. I need to fix it. When there was a drought in Masr, in Egypt, or in Medina, I think. It was in Medina, drought in Medina. And food came from Egypt to serve the people in Medina. Someone brought Umar al-Khattab a little bit of food, which was a little bit lavish. There was no food in Mecca at that time, but someone brought Umar a little bit of food that was quite tasty. Umar al-Khattab looked at it, and his stomach started growling as he looked at it, because he hadn't also eaten for days. And then he said, I will not eat this or any morsel of food until every single person in Medina is fed. We don't think like that. We don't think this ummah is my responsibility. Brothers, sisters, we don't think this world is my responsibility. Wallahi, 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 it's you and I. It's our responsibility. I cannot say more than this. You don't want to wake up on the day of judgment thinking you did enough. You go in front of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, go to hellfire head first because you didn't do enough. You're going to say, Ya Allah, I didn't know. Allah's going to say, I gave you the Quran. Haven't you read it? I gave you 50 years. Haven't you learned Arabic? Haven't you learned tafsir? You went to khutab. You chose to close your ears and your eyes. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about him in Surah Al-Hijr and Surah Al-Kahf in two places, فَلَعَلَّكَ بَاخِعٌ نَفْسَكَ أَلَّا يَكُونُ مُؤْمِنِينَ. Ya Rasul of Allah, you're going to kill yourself because you're taking too much stress upon yourself because you feel responsible to save all these people. Do we have the same level of care? If we don't, that's a sign of nifaq and hypocrisy. If we don't and we feel bad about it, that's a sign of iman. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst the believers. Allahumma ameen. أقول قولي هذا وقال الله تعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد وأقم الصلاة